So here's a video by KMAC on YouTube that is just a tiny bit of history about origami, and it is not narrated, it's just written out, so I'm going to be narrating it for us. I think the images that it shows, the video, is really pretty. It's a nice little stop motion. If you don't know what a stop motion is, that's when someone makes a video, like an animation, but they are using it just using pictures. So they take one picture like this and then one picture like this. And when you put it together, it almost looks like something's moving. So you'll kind of see what that looks like. I'm sure you've probably seen some stop motion before, but let's take a look at some origami. So this is the history of origami. Origami is the Japanese art of paper folding. Ori is the Japanese word for folding, and kami is the Japanese word for paper. At first, there was very little paper available, so only the rich could afford to do paper folding. The Japanese found useful purposes for their origami. For example, the samurai would exchange gifts with a form known as a noshi. This was a paper folded with a strip of dried fish or meat. It was considered a good luck token. As easier paper-making methods were developed, paper became less expensive. Origami became a popular art for everyone, no matter if they were rich or poor. So here we can see some stop motion of them making cranes. The crane is one of the most popular origami shapes today. The crane has also become a global peace symbol. As trade routes were developed, the art of origami was introduced to Europe and later the United States. Today, master paper folders can be found in many places around the world. The interest in origami continues to increase today. So we just learned a little bit more about where origami is from. Now we are going to make a few origami art projects. So you only need to make one of these. We are going to make a bunny rabbit, a cat, and a photo frame. So you can kind of pick and choose which one you want, or you can do all of them. So you'll watch through them and then kind of make your decision. So I actually don't have origami paper, and I'm assuming that many of you also do not. If you do, that is so awesome, and you can totally use that for this. I am going to use just printer paper that I've cut into squares. So you just really can use any paper, but you want it to be a little bit thin. So I tried to use construction paper. That does not work very well. It's very hard to fold. It's a little bit thicker. So you want just like printer paper or origami paper, something that's thin. I bet even wrapping paper would work if you have wrapping paper and you want to cut that into squares and use that. So I've just got a handful of sheets that I've cut into squares. So you will need these all to be squares. So the first thing we're going to make is the bunny rabbit. So if you choose to do this, you're going to take your square and you're going to fold this bottom corner up to meet this top corner. So you're just folding corner to corner diagonally. Okay, and then once I've got it like this, I'm going to fold this corner over to overlap with this one. So I'm just folding it in half just like that. And then I'll crease it. Okay, so I've got it folded in half like that. I'm just going to unfold it again. So we've just got that crease down the middle. And then I'm going to fold up just like an inch or so, like about a fingertip width, however thick you want your bunny's ears to be. So I'm just folding up all the way across. I want to try to keep it the same width all the way across. Almost looks like a sailboat. This is going to be the width of our bunny's ears. Okay, so once I've got that part just folded up a little, we're going to take this and we're going to fold to meet this part up with this middle crease. So I'm folding this up just so that that paper lines up with this middle crease right here. And I'm going to fold right there. I'm going to do the same on this side. So this edge is going to fold over to line up with the middle crease in the middle of the paper. So some parts get a little bit tricky to fold. So you'll just have to work with it a little bit and try to be patient with yourself. So once I've got it looking like this, I'm going to fold up this part just a little bit. Kind of fold a little triangle out of it. This part you can see is kind of hard to fold. You got to pinch it kind of hard. Just really pinch it closed with a little triangle. I'm going to flip it around. And now this part, I'm going to take all of this and I'm going to tuck it behind. And this is going to be the top of my bunny's head. So however tall I want my bunny's head to be. So I'll just tuck it behind right up here. Pinch it. And now I've got my bunny's face and little ears here. This is optional. You can color it in if you use just white paper like me, or you can also draw on a little face. So I might draw a little face onto my little bunny. You can decorate yours however you want, just a little bunny face. It's our first one. So our second one we are going to make a cat. You will actually need 2 pieces of square paper for this. One's going to be the body and one will be the head. So we are going to start with just making the head. So we'll take this, I'm going to fold that diagonally just like I did when I started out the bunny. So corner to corner, diagonal corners. Crease that all the way around. And then I'm going to fold this up so that it goes right to the center. This corner is going right up to the center. And I'm just going to crease that down. And I'm going to do the same on this side. It's going to end up looking like a smaller square. So there we go. I've got that. All right, so once I got it like this, I'm going to turn it all the way around so it's upside down, and these parts that we just folded up are down here. This part we're going to make our cat's ears. So each of these ends is going to be an ear. So watch what I mean. I'm going to fold this up, and I can decide where I want this to be. So this is going to be my cat's ear, but we'll see it from this side. So if you want your ear to be really big, maybe you'll fold it all the way up here. If you want your ear to be really small, you can move it all the way down here. So you can kind of decide how big you think you want your ears to be. So I'll put mine right there, crease that down, and then I'm just going to try to match that on the other side. So I'll try to match with these corners to get as closely as I can and try to make it look as close as I can on both sides. I've got my ears. I'm going to flip it around, and I'm actually going to fold this part down, and this is just going to be the top of my cat's head. So I'm just folding down a little triangle just so he doesn't have a pointy head on the top. There we go. It's the top of my cat's head and his ears. And then I'm going to take both of these flaps down at the bottom, and I'm going to fold them up into a triangle. And now I'm going to fold this one down. So I had them both folded up. I'm going to fold just one of them down, the one that's on the outside. Lift up this front of my cat's face and then just fold this lower one and just crease it under there. So now it's just hidden under there. So I'll show you that again. So I had my cat's head like this. I folded this part up, took just the outside, lifted up my cat's face, and tucked this right underneath. And then I'm going to crease that and just tuck down one little small triangle for his nose right here in the front. Okay, so now you can see just a little triangle for his nose. This is just where his mouth and stuff would be. And then I'm going to fold in just the sides so he doesn't have pointy little cheeks. So I'm just folding in 2 little triangles at each of the sides as well. Okay, and there is my cat's face. I'm just going to make sure that all those creases are nice and flat. So the body is actually really, really easy. So we're going to start the same way we did with the head, with the opposite corners folding in. And I'll crease that down. So now that I've got it folded, I actually want to turn it so it's like this. And I'm going to fold this part over. It doesn't have to go all the way in. It can just kind of sit along here as long as this edge kind of lines up. And that is going to be our cat's tail. So it can actually sit up, but this is just his little tail. This is his body. And now this part right here, we take our head. You can see I've added a little face to mine. I'm going to unfold just this part right here. And then where I opened it up the head before to tuck in that one little flap, I'm just going to open in just like that. I'm going to stick this in here. And that triangle is going to go all the way up to this triangle at the tippy top of his head. Just to kind of secure it. I can decide how I want my cat's head to be angled. So whenever it's where I like it, so I think I like it about right there. I'm going to fold this back down, and part of this paper is stuck up in that triangle, and that's going to hold it in there. So I'm just pinching that nice and good. And now your kitty cat will sit up just like this on the table. So that's our cool little kitty cat. You can color it in if you want, if you used not colored paper like I did. Our last one we're going to make is a little picture frame. So you will just need one of these square pieces of paper again. Okay, so here we are going to start it just the same as we have the other ones. I'm going to do diagonal corners, crease them together. Go. This time we're not going to keep it folded, we're going to unfold it. And we are going to take the other corners and we're going to fold them just the way we just did. But now we're going to have an X in the middle of our paper. So you'll see that X once I get this unfolded again. Boom, there's our X. So now we are going to take each of our corners and we're going to fold it not all the way across, but till the very middle point. So I'm going to take my first corner, fold it to that middle point, trying to get it as accurate as I can. And then I'm going to crease it down on both sides. I'm going to take the corner next to it, fold up. The lines will sit right next to each other. It's going to fold up to that point in the middle, as close as I can get it. Go. So mine's a little bit uneven. Maybe yours will be more even than mine. And then we're going to keep on going all the way around up to that corner. Fold it. And then our last one, going to do the same. So now I've got a new little square. I'm going to flip it around. And now we're going to do that same exact thing, but we're going to use these. So I'm going to fold this into this corner, or to the very center. Crease it down. And then I'm going to do this all the way around once again, just like I did on the other side. And I'm going to turn this into an even smaller square, folding that one in, increasing it all the way along. Okay, so now that I've got this part, I'm going to flip it over again. This is now our front. I'm going to fold each of these flaps up just like that so that they line up, making a little triangle out of them. And then once I do that to all of these, I'm going to unfold this, and I'm actually going to lift this up and tuck this part under. So I'm just tucking it right underneath of that triangle. There we go. And I've just got a little pocket made there. So I'm going to show you that again with this one. So I'm going to slide my finger right underneath there, right underneath this square, fold it up just so that it overlaps. I'm just folding it in half like that. Then when I unfold it, I'm going to pop this up and tuck this underneath, and it should fit just perfectly right underneath of that shape. I'm just doing that all the way around. Unfold it, tuck it in. Okay, and now this right here is our picture frame. So I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to use this actually to frame some artwork, but I made this little artwork that will fit perfectly in this picture frame, and I know it will because I traced around my picture frame just in the corner down here, and then I drew a little picture. I'm going to cut that picture out, but you could do this with a photo that will fit in there. I just don't have any photos with me right now, so I'm using a little artwork. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tuck it inside of each of those little pockets. So I'm going to tuck a corner, and then I'm going to tuck this corner in, the last corner, tuck that one in. There we go. Got a little picture frame for my artwork. Hope that you had tons of fun making these. If you made all of them, that's super awesome. Please take pictures of any of these that you made and fill out that Google form, send them to me, email them to me, whatever you need to do. I hope you had tons of fun. Bye.